Alright, we are at Wisconsin Dells. We're going to be flying home from a little trip. It'll be pretty easy. And then we'll be navigating through Minneapolis Bravo airspace to get back to our home airport. Pretty much have to cut through the whole Bravo. So we're going to get airborne. And then we're going to do an airborne VOR check because it's been 30 days since I did a VOR check, so I need to do that to be current. And then after we do our airborne VOR check, we're going to pick up flight following for the duration back home. Winds are 290 at 13, gusting 16. So we've basically got a direct crosswind. And as of now, runway 01 is going to be the best runway, but it's again pretty much a direct crosswind. And you can see the windsock right in front of us. It is a direct crosswind. As we're taxiing, we're checking out our compass, checking out our turn coordinator and inclinometer, make sure everything is reacting accordingly. Our altimeter is at the correct altitude for this airport, so that looks good. Baraboo Dells traffic, Comanche 83901 Papa on Alpha 1, about to depart runway 01 and departing to the northwest, Baraboo. Clear on the right, clear on the left. Get a crosswind correction in here. Big old crosswind correction. Full throttle. Build up that airspeed. Crabbing into the wind. Gears going up. Gauges are green. Trim her down a little bit. Watching for traffic. Not too bad. And we're at 400, so we'll start our turn. Baraboo Dells traffic, Comanche 390 Papa, departure off of runway 01, departing to the northwest, last call, all Baraboo. Alright, bring that power back. 24 squared. And we're going to cruise here for a little bit. So we're going to switch over to our left auxiliary. Right there. All left flat. Fuel pump off, fuel pressure good. And we'll probably hover around 3,000 until we can get the VOR check done. Landing lights are going off. And we're going to try to run our auxiliary tanks down as much as we can this flight. Yeah, we're already hitting some turbulence. I figured. So we'll pull the power back a little bit. And we'll lean our mixture. Yeah, unreal. Super bumpy already. So we'll try to climb up. We can definitely climb above these clouds once we finish the VOR check. And it should be smoother up there. But down here it's going to be pretty bumpy. For sure. I think that's good for the mixture. So, we're going to go switch over to our CDI and then set our course for 284 if we can. The turbulence. Crying out loud. Turbulence is so annoying. The worst. Okay, so we have our course set at 284.
Skydive 2 minutes to jumpers over Baldwin.
Skydivers. So we have our course set to 284. And we have the DLL VOR plugged in on our radio. So we are flying from the VOR, and if we look at our OBS here, we can see we've got the from indication, and we're pretty much on that 284 radio right now already. Need to go a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right. We're pretty close still, so it's pretty sensitive with minor adjustments. Yeah, we'll just hold this 284 radio, and then there's a lake up here a little ways, again about 20 miles away from the VOR. And for airborne VOR checks, you want to pick a, there was a gust, you want to pick a ground point that is right on that Victor airway. That's an easy ground reference point to use. So on foreflight, you can see this Victor airway right at the north tip of this lake is pretty much right on that Victor airway. So we're going to cross that north point visually, and then note our how many degrees off we are over Baldwin. So far it looks pretty good. We're at 3,000 feet, that looks good. So we're looking for that second point on the lake. Yes, we're going right towards it. So we'll cross over here. And again, with the VOR, it does not matter what direction the airplane is facing. We could be facing north, south, east, west, but it's when we're over that point that it'll give us the indication of our course air, or bearing air. So right about here. And if we look at our VOR, we've got a slight deflection to the right, but now it's right on. Now it's a little bit of deflection to the left. So we're over that point right now. So I'm going to note that as a negative one degree deflection for the VOR check. And we have a little notebook in our airplane that we basically just pop that in a note. That's all you need to do. Switch over to our right main. Now we'll climb. And then we'll go back to GPS mode. And as we're climbing, I'm going to do a couple of things. Number one, plug in our destination. And then that populates over to our foreflight. And as we climb, we have to add a little more power. Put on our autopilot or navigation mode, so that'll be synced up with our GPS course. And we got some scattered clouds. Again, nothing too crazy at all. We should be able to climb over the top of these. And the weather briefing I did before taking off showed scattered clouds kind of throughout my route. But we'll keep an eye on that. We don't want to get trapped above, mainly. I'll level out here until we pass this cloud. But once we get to a cross area, we'll be able to call Minneapolis Center on 128.6. Switch that to our primary. So we could go to 10,500, but that would be about as high as I would want to go. And it looks like there's some clouds up there that are definitely over that altitude. One wheel. Alright, we are at 10,500, and although the air is incredibly smooth up here, and we're running a nice clean mixture, we have a massive headwind up here, and there's also a pretty good amount of cloud development in front of us. So I think we're gonna have to descend, unfortunately. But yeah, we have a ground speed of 103. So we are getting destroyed by this headwind. So I think we're gonna descend, unfortunately. And the clouds in front of us, I don't know how long that'll go, so we're gonna get below those and try to find a little bit better situation as far as the winds go. Yeah, even now our true airspeed is 211. And ground speed 138. Not awesome. I was hoping for 8,500, but that's not going to happen, it looks like. So I guess we'll be cruising at 6,500. It looks like. There's the turbulence. Yeah, I just can't tell with the clouds how high we need to be. I mean, when we were at 10,500, we were not high enough for what we had in front of us, so unfortunately it is what it is. And the weather briefing did show tops at around 12 to 13,000 on my route, so looks like that is going to be correct. Still got a 33 knot headwind, so our headwind went down 10 knots, descending to 6,500, but still pretty extreme. So we'll pump our power back up again, now that we're at 6,500. Yeah, there it is. And we'll tighten up the seatbelt. Minneapolis, Comanche 8391 Papa with request.
Go ahead.
I'd like to pick up flight following to Crystal, Mike India Charlie. We are 20 miles northeast of La Crosse.
In case I call send again.
November 8391 Papa. We are a Piper Comanche 250 TA 24250.
Sir, 8391 Papa, Minneapolis Center, squawk 2643.
2643, 91 Papa. Good Lord. There we go. We got the squawk in. Alright, pulling out some power here.
November 8 to 391 Papa, your radar contact about 125 miles from the Crystal Airport, altitude.
6,500, 8391 Papa.
8391 Papa, thank you, across altimeter 3010.
3010.
020 Kilo Tango, descend at Pilot's discretion, maintain at 3,500.
Alright, we got our flight following, picked up. Brought our speed down just a little bit through this turbulence, unfortunately. But I pulled a little more power out. We're about 20 inches now, just to keep it a little bit smoother. Wow. Yeah, okay. Oh, I might have to descend a little bit. November 8391 Papa, descending to 4,500 for clouds.
91 Papa, roger, altitude is your discretion.
Altitude, my discretion, 91 Papa. Okay. And our outside air temperature is 34 degrees right now, so it is pretty cold up here. So we definitely don't want to pick up any precipitation from the clouds, because it is above freezing, but potentially cold enough that we could have a little bit of icing, which we don't want. This flight is very pretty, I will say. A lot of bluffs, a lot of hills, cool terrain. It does make for some more turbulence, but it's a very pretty scenic flight. And we got the river to our southwest, and we'll be flying over the river momentarily, which will be also pretty cool. Alright, 4,500, so we'll add a little more power, level off here. Mixture is still looking good. Yeah, the winds are a lot more favorable down here, as far as headwinds go at least. Turbulence is still, it is what it is, but we got a 17 knot headwind versus when we were at 10.5, we had a 45 knot headwind. So that's good, at least. And we've got our left auxiliary tank pretty much run. We ran that down almost entirely. So we'll switch to our right aux tank. Monitor fuel pressure. That's good. And then we'll run our right aux tank down. I'm trying to run my auxiliary tanks down because I have a flight on Friday with some friends. We're going on a camping trip, and we're going to have 4 dudes in the plane. So we'll be at maximum gross weight. And the fuel planning for that flight is going to be very important, because we will not be able to have maximum fuel, obviously. So I'm going to run my auxiliary tanks down all the way, pretty much, and then I'll be doing that flight just on my mains.
November 930 Golf Lima, Minneapolis Center, climb to maintain flight level 410.
Be doing that flight on my mains, and like I said, we'll need to get the fuel measurements real precise. But my useful load in this plane is about 1,100 pounds. So it has a pretty decent, useful load, but if you get 4 relatively large men in this plane, the useful load gets squeezed down pretty quick. And down here at 4,500, still a little bit.
November 55 at 9
turbulent,
contact
but
cluster approach 119.8.
it's more
119.8.
I would call it a light chop compared to turbulence. And the difference between chop and turbulence is chop is kind of just like a
November 20 Kilo Tango, Minneapolis at your 12 o'clock in about 1-2 miles from the field site.
bumping up and down a little bit. Turbulence is where you're really severely
right now, I can
having those big drops and those big
November
bumps.
20 Kilo Tango, thank you. Cancellation is received. You can squawk up VFR and change
So
over to advisory position.
both of them are annoying.
Changing to advisory. Thank you, 20 Kilo Tango.
But I would rather take chop all day over turbulence.
November 83 at 91 Papa, contact Minneapolis approach 121.2.
121.2, 91 Papa. Alright, so we're going to switch over to approach, and that should be our final switch, and then we'll go over to Solo Whiskey, come and maintain 4,000. Minneapolis, Comanche 839 Papa with you at 4,500.
Number 839 Papa, Minneapolis approach, information Alpha, Trent Crystal, maintain VFR.
Maintain VFR, well, you know, we get the weather, I don't know, Papa.
Number 91 Papa, maintain VFR outside the Bravo airspace to Crystal.
Maintain VFR outside the Bravo to Crystal, 91 Papa.
Number 9 Bravo, November,
We gotta get below 4,000. So we can get below that first shelf.
Number 9 Bravo, November, descend to maintain 3,000.
So we'll pull out some power.
Bravo 16530, wind 330 at 9, visibility 10, sky conditions clear, temperature 13, dew point -3, altimeter 3013. Visual departure venues, landing and departing runway pretty soon. Notice the airman instruction, claims 2.7 nautical miles north, gas water approach
4570,
250
section 3014.
aircraft.
839 Papa, do you want us to go to the north and go around St. Paul's airspace?
November 901 Papa, you're clear to transition St. Paul's airspace on this frequency.
Perfect transition to on this frequency, 901 Papa. So we don't have Bravo clearance, but we are clear to transition St. Paul's airspace. So that'll be cool. Now,
Number 1 Kilo November, maintain 4,000.
we have to stay outside the Bravo, so we're going to descend to below 3,000.
I just want to make sure you're on the same page, man. You can transition the St. Paul Delta airspace, but still maintain outside the Bravo.
Roger that. Outside the Bravo, we're descending below 3,000 and transition through for 901 Papa. So we have to get below 3,000 for this shelf, which we're at 3,000 now. And then we have to get below 2,300 for the next shelf. So we're going to descend to 2,000. There's downtown St. Paul, Holman Field.
Number 2 Whiskey Kilo, climb maintain 7,000.
Very cool airport. And we're getting tons of airspace alerts. We're right next to the inner shelf of the Bravo. And we're going through downtown St. Paul's airspace, which is a Delta. We got cleared through that. We just have to stay below 2,300 for St. Paul's airspace, for Minneapolis's second Bravo shelf. And we're going to be going right over downtown, which will be pretty cool. See some of these skyscrapers. And we have information Bravo at Crystal.
It's 1 Kilo November, it's going to maintain 3,000.
That's pretty cool, man. That's really cool. We're getting pretty close. We're 12 miles out. A39 Papa has Bravo at Crystal.
Thank you.
Should be able to see the field.
November 458, VFR 20 discretion, contact
soon.
center 121.0.
10 miles out. We got tower plugged in. We got
November 91 Papa, contact Crystal Tower 120.7.
contact tower, 91 Papa, thanks. Crystal Tower, 8391 Papa with Bravo, 10 to the southeast.
8391 Papa, Crystal Tower, make straight in, runway 32.
Straight in, 32, 8391 Papa. So, we can start bringing back our power a little bit as we prepare for landing. Got straight in, 3-2. Start cutting over here. Get lined up a little bit better. There's a TFR later today at Target Field for a Twins game. Yeah, the visibility today, this might be the best visibility I've ever experienced in a flight. This is absolutely crazy. I can see forever. Very cool. We're 6.2 miles out. Put in a little bit more power. And I think I got the runway in sight now. So we'll get down to pattern altitude, which is just a couple hundred feet below where we're at. And we'll configure for landing, so our fuel pump is going to go on. Our mixture is going to go rich. And we'll do our first dumps check, so gas is on the right main. We'll put our landing gear down, we're 4 miles out. Landing gear's going down. There's the runway. Gear's down, we got a green light. Gas, undercarriage, mixture, prop to go, and switches, fuel pump and landing lights are on, seatbelt is on. And I got visual on the runway, we are on a 3-mile final. And winds are directly, we got a direct headwind. And we're a little low, so we'll fly here level. .2 miles away. We'll trim it up a little bit so we can maintain this altitude, so we can get on the glide path for the PAPI. Pull out a little more power. 1, 2, 3, we'll put in 1 notch of flaps. And then we'll maintain this. And we haven't gotten landing clearance yet.
Comanche 1 Papa, window 32010, runway 32, clear to land.
Clear to land, 32, 839 Papa. And there's the clearance. So, only thing we got left is a prop. Prop's full forward. Carburetor heat, gas, undercarriage, mixture, prop switches. We are configured for landing. We are on glide slope now. Get that airspeed down a little bit more. One, two, three. Just do 2 notches of flaps. We'll trim it up. Airspeed's looking good. 80 to 90 on this final approach is ideal. Pull out a little more power. Need a little bit of right rudder, but nothing too crazy. Perfect. We are down. Anyway, Papa is parking Charlie 1 North Hangars.
Comanche 1 Papa, Roger, roll to the end right on Charlie 1 and Charlie in this frequency, the parking with you.
Right it down, Charlie 1 Charlie on this frequency, 91 Papa, thanks. And there you go. So it was a little bit bumpy flight, but that's a pretty flight. Wisconsin Dells over downtown St. Paul, pretty much right next to downtown Minneapolis. Incredible visibility. So the turbulence was the only downside, but otherwise good flight. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you soon.